Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're going to take a look at Mew in the Great League Remix Cup, and I'm honestly thinking that this is one of the best save-swaps in the current meta. Why is that the case? Because basically everything is kinda weak to the charge moves of this Pokemon, or at least neutral. But if you take a look at the meta right now, if you could just go to PvP Poke, basically everything of like the top 10 or whatever is going to be weak to either the Surf or the Wild Charge, and so Mew is quite decent in getting out Pokemon like a Steelix here and punish them straight away with a Surf. This team itself was decent, but I have to say I did not get my best results with this team here. It was still kind of solid, it was still kind of like even, but the issue is a lot of times Machamp just got hardwalled. Like honestly, I barely got any elite that was okay for me. Most of them were Gligar, Mantine, all those Pokemon that I don't really want to face. And basically the day prior, I was only encountering Steelix in the lead, and so I was like, yeah, Machamp should be really good in the lead. It was not. Starting off here directly with a back-to-back flying type Pokemon is basically kind of what I got with this team as well. Yeah, that's kind of the issue which I just had. I just got hardwalled nearly 90% of the battles, but I still came back from a lot of them, so like it had definitely some comic qualities. But I'm mostly going to take a look at Mew in a different video in the future again, because I feel like this Pokemon has so much potential. One thing as well, I feel like if I would have played this team a little bit longer, I would have had better results, because knowing when to go for the bait and knowing when to go for the nuke on Mew is quite important, and it's quite not straightforward. Here, I expect, of course, that the opponent is running my team that literally, like, I see every single day, like, several times with the Shadow Dragonite, Berserker, as well as the Empoleon in the back, so I kind of expect this, and so I decided to try to play towards that as well here, knocking out the Berserker, swapping out, most likely immediately here into my Machamp, getting out the opponent's Empoleon, allowing me to go for a cross chop. If they want to shield, they can shield. If they don't, they don't. I don't care. They decided to let this move go through, and so I can counter them down. So yeah, it was kind of lucky for me that I know what they had in the bag. Next opponent, we're going to have a Tentacruel in the lead. So, this would be, for example, one of the things where I would kind of have to know more about how to play Mew as well. Again, because I haven't really played for too long, but I'm most likely going to make another video about this Pokemon anyway. But here we saw that I decided to go for the bait, and it did not really work out. I can take a charge move from the opponent, it's going to be a Scald, but now they can swap out into the Tropius. And so if I went for the Wild Charge, I most likely had a little bit of a better play. But also quite interesting team from the opponent, not something that you really see often, so yeah, kind of interesting for sure. Area is coming through here from our Mantine. It's not going to be able to knock them out. They can still go for a charge move. I decided to let this move go through as well, I think. It's going to be the Leaf Blade, as we can take at least a hit with a Mantine. We have to see what's coming back in. It's going to be the Tentacruel, which is quite nice, as now we can still go for some neutral damage against the opponent. But as you can see here, I'm forced to swap out into my Machamp. Shadow Machamp is going to be able to use a shield here. A Scald coming through. It is going to not drop our attack, but what the hell is this? Yeah, I got beaten by a Venomoth in like 2800 elo range or something. That was lovely. Honestly, I wonder if Venomoth has more play in this current meta than I expect. Like, it is decent against something like, I guess, the Annihilate, but that's basically it. One other thing that really annoyed me during those battles, but I feel like most likely nearly everybody has that, but I saw it just now again here. Like, lag is wild. Like, I have so many frame drops where I feel like I don't actually lose the turns all the time. Sometimes I do still, but it's mainly that I cannot throw at the timing that I want to throw. I don't know when the opponent has like their fast moves done or whatever, just because it just completely lags for a second or two and you don't see anything on the screen, which is just so annoying right now. Like, honestly, I don't know what's currently going on with the game state. I don't know if it's the same for you. Let me know in the comment section. I would really appreciate some feedback from you. But for me right now, every single game I played, I think today, had some kind of frame drop issues in the middle of them, and it was just so annoying. I restarted my phone before. I did everything in my power, at least, to try to fix it from my side, and yeah, it did not work. Like, I have every asset downloaded, and it just doesn't make a difference. And this was definitely something that was quite annoying for me when I did those battles here today. But yeah, this is what it is here. We're going to see the opponent having to take some aerial aces from my Mantine, but I doubt that is going to be enough. As they're going to shield this move up, I can go for another one and knock them out. This is going to knock them out as well, but most likely, right? It actually doesn't, and so we lose no matter what. Next opponent, look at this, a Mantine in the lead. Like, honestly, if you take a look at the leads I encountered, for me, still getting actually quite decent results with this team, it's kind of mad, because like the stuff they encountered was basically always a hard counter to my champ, and it's just like kind of annoying if every single battle you're going to start with yeah, disadvantage the entire time, because you have to swap out, you have to lock yourself into a Pokemon they don't want to lock yourself into. Here against Mantine, by the way, would be like one of the only Pokemon where I would go into my own Mantine as a save swap instead of my Mew. I feel like Mew would be also a great closer to play. The team that I have in mind doesn't have Mew as a closer, but again as a sales up, so it might come out eventually on my channel here as well. But as you can see, we can go for the aerial ace and actually going to be able to align ourselves, which is quite helpful. As Hitmonchan comes in, I should be able to outspeed them with my Shadow Machamp, so kind of funny that we see like 2 more rarely seen Shadow Fighters. I actually thought of going for the Shadow Hitmonchan as well. Main reason for this Pokemon learns Fire Punch and Ice Punch as well as Thunder Punch. And Thunder Punch and Ice Punch are both really good for this meta, and I feel like, yeah, especially in this meta right now, I feel like Hitmonchan has quite a lot of play, so maybe I want to take a look at this Pokemon as well. But here we're going to be able to still get a cross chop off, allowing us to get some nice damage onto the opponent's Quagsire. You see a lot of times a little bit of a lag here, so like if you see like a little bit of a delay in the gameplay or whatever, this is not on your side, it is on my side, because it is just how the game currently is. But anyway, we can take a move here. Unless they're running Earthquake, we're going to survive one, and yes, this is going to be just the awkward here. We can say goodbye to them, as this serve is going to be enough to knock them out, and we can move on to the next opponent. Let's take a look at what they're going to run here. Annihilate in the lead. Look at this, horrible lead again. Like literally losing every lead, and look at the lag again. You saw it there as well when I swapped into the Mew. Like I don't know how much energy they had at this point. There was nothing that I can really do about this. They get the boost immediately. We have a little bit more lag there as well. But we can try to go for a double serve. I thought I would be able to win the CMP type, but I wasn't. And so yeah, I'm forced to use a shield here. Like honestly, like the amount of lag that is happening here in the game is just like so insanely annoying, because I don't know. The game was just recently, before basically the Avatar update, I feel like in a state where everything was kind of working, not perfect, don't get me wrong, not perfect, but definitely, yeah, fine that you would be able to expand on PvP. And while I was hoping that we're gonna get something like Show 6, Pick 3 or something in the game, I don't know if this is actually currently even possible with the way the game behaves, but yeah, maybe in the end they're going to figure something out. Here we're going to be forced to swap out immediately against the opponent's Mantine, because apparently they're going to have 2 Pokemon that are completely hardwalling us immediately, so that's great. I tried to overfarm, but the opponent makes a great play here, catching the move on the Stunfisk. Honestly, it doesn't matter, it literally doesn't matter. They would have won no matter what, so we can swap out into the next swap out, move on to the next game, I want to say. Look, like honestly, I cannot even say anything anymore. Like we had, like so far I think there's like 6 or 7 lost leads in a row. The fact that we actually still won some battles here today was kind of mad. Like literally getting hard-walled every single battle. And still we came back from quite a lot of them with the Mew, because Mew is a great save-swap, as you're gonna see here again. Especially if they're gonna go for these Psychic Fangs, it's not going to be enough. Breaking Swipe, not going to be enough. And we can force maybe even 2 shields from the opponent here. Let's find out. Serve coming through is going to be able to connect, and we have 1 shield plus alignment. And honestly, like Mew was a Pokemon that I would really recommend you to try out. I think this Pokemon is amazing to play right now. As the only hard answer to this Pokemon is Guzzlord, and not a lot of people have a Guzzlord or run a Guzzlord. And so this thing is absolutely wild. Like you have Gligar, weak to Surf, you're going to have Mantine, weak to Wild Charge, you're going to have the Annihilate, weak to Shadow Claw, and so I can highly recommend you to try out this Pokemon. Just not with a Machamp in the lead, most likely. But here we're going to be able to at least knock out the opponent's Charm user with our Machamp, which is hilarious. But we can now swap out into a Mantine. Mantine is going to be able to use a shield here on a potential Shadow Ball, which they're going to go for. They're only win con, and so they're going to most likely forfeit anyway here. And this is going to be it for this game. Let's move on to the next opponent. Like, what can I even say anymore? Like, this is not really, like, again, like, people even say, oh my god, he's cherry-picking his videos or whatever, or, like, the battles that he want to showcase. You sure about this? I'm not too sure about it, at least. But yeah, here we're going to see the opponent going to shield up against the Mew with the Galissopod. Again, like, that's kind of something that I don't do, by the way, if anybody ever thinks this. But it is kind of wild here on how we get hardwalled now. How many battles in a row? It is. I don't think we had a single positive lead so far for Machamp. At least I can't remember. There was a little bit of lag again as well. Oh, look again, a little bit of lag. Wow. Isn't it lovely to play the game right now? I don't really want to be, like, crazy toxic about the game or whatever anyway. Like, it is what it is. Like, I Still enjoy it a little bit, I have to say, but still I wish it was a little bit in a better state, but I'm more kind of scared towards like the future of the game. Basically last year, at the end of last year, there was like kind of an article where Niantic kind of hinted towards more PvP features and stuff like this that's coming later on for this year, so hopefully it's still going to be happening. Here we're going to see if it's going to be happening that we can knock out a Gligar with a Shadow Rock Slide, which we barely can't, but what a surprise, we're gonna get completely walled here and sadly we're going to lose this battle as well. But again, like it is, I feel like the team is kind of poor here right now because it's just like so unfortunate that we have only horrible leads. Speaking of horrible leads, this is not one of them. Finally, we won a lead here against a Greedent. Isn't this lovely? We're gonna get out the Jellicent as well, and yeah, I could use a shield here. I could decide to go for the bait as well. Let's see if I'm gonna go for the Surf or the Wild Charge. I decided to go for the Surf here. Very likely the opponent tries to maybe align themselves. Cool thing. Oh, like, this is what I kind of mean. Like, this is literally what I kind of mean. You kind of have to try to know a little bit better on when to throw the nuke with Mew, I guess. Here we are going to still be able to align ourselves. I can still go for a Wild Charge against the opponent's Greedent, which can help us with farming them down later on with our Machamp, so hopefully it's going to work out for me. As you're gonna see, I can let the move go through. Body Slam is going to knock me out. Again, a little bit of lag. They can actually undercharge here, which is a very smart decision by them, and they swap out immediately into their own Mantine. This matchup is actually quite interesting, because this happens to me all the time as well when I'm like basically in a shield advantage with some similar matchup to this one. It is actually quite a decent matchup for us right now, even though we're in an energy and shield disadvantage, especially if they go for the Ice Beam, because going for a double Ice Beam, yeah, gonna put us into farm down range afterwards, but we're just going to be able to force more shields with Aerial Ace anyway, and I still should be able to get another one off afterwards. So Ice Beam comes through, perfect for us because we can still go for another Aerial Ace if they want to let this move go through. Go for it. Let's see, they're going to let this move go through. We can swap out here, we can try to go for the full farm down. I'm fairly certain I can survive a one Body Slam from the Greedent. We just have to hope that we can reach another cross chop in time before that. So let's take a look here. Hopefully we don't get any lag that is going to ruin our game here. Of course there's some lag. Luckily it didn't really matter, but again, like it is just so... I don't know, like it's just annoying to play like this. It's not really mattering too often, too much, but it's just like not really a nice feeling to always have to fear that there's all of a sudden a stutter lag that might be losing you your game. Next opponent, Feraligatr in the lead. This is going to be a lovely lead for us. I definitely think this is going to be a great lead here for us. We're going to see that the opponent swaps out into a Gligar, which is fine. I make a mistake here. This is my fault. I should have went to the Mew. Why should I went to Mew? Mew and CMP time. Mew gets to the Surf at the same time as the opponent gets to Aerial Ace. There's nothing the opponent would be able to do so. Here, this is a silly mistake by me to go for my Gligar. Shouldn't have done that. Go into Mew. Way better. My fault. Like again, like I am not too experienced with the team. Of course, you usually, when I showcase teams, see my first battles with us, so like basically the battles that you would be having as well. But for especially for this team here, I feel like if you have a little bit more experience with it, I think you would have some better results as well. Here, great play by the opponent, by the way, because they went for the full farm down here and forcing them to align themselves or like switch lock themselves into the Feraligatr, but getting just barely enough energy to go for another charge move. And again, I feel like this game would have been so different if I just played it a little bit differently, and this was then my fault in this case. Let's take a look at the next thingy here coming in. Let's see what it's going to be. It is going to be, oh wow, look at this, an Annihilate. Honestly, while I showcased recently, at least if everything goes to plan, a video about Shadow Machamp where someone really climbed high up close to Legend with it, for me, Shadow Machamp was just the Pokemon that really let me down in those battles because I just got hardwalled the entire time. So, don't know, here we're gonna see that we cannot really counter them down because it's going to be a Ghost type, and so we're sadly going to lose this game. Still, hope you enjoyed this video. Quite a lot of losses here, mainly because of team comp though, and yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.